Okay, so here we are for the second of these two videos, and this one's a little bit more of an introduction to me. I know that when I was a student, I always liked to know a little bit about my professors and kind of have an idea of where they were coming from. And then we'll jump into the syllabus and the schedule, and we'll talk about what some of the expectations are for the class. Um, as I mentioned in the previous video, my name is Dr. Schuessler. I grew up in North Texas, specifically Denton, Texas. I went to the University of North Texas. My parents had a small family business just off the campus, fixed electronics and stuff like that. And that was kind of my responsibility. I took care of our network, our computer systems. I repaired computers for customers for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, something like that. And that was very convenient for me because it allowed me to go to school and work at the same time, and I did plenty of both of those things. As I said, I went to the University of North Texas. I got my bachelor's degree in strategic management. I got an MBA in business computer information systems, an MS in information technology, and a PhD in business computer information systems. I also have a few computer certs, nothing big and fancy, but Network Plus, Security Plus, and A Plus certifications. And then there's a few other things that I've been working towards in terms of certifications, and I've got a SANS training starting in September, things of that nature. As far as the syllabus, as I mentioned, it's here on our homepage. We have access to it right here on the left over in the navigation bar. Opens up as a Google Doc, and you can see it pops up right there. It's CIS. It actually should be BCIS. Let's go ahead and pop that on in there. It's our new course naming system. Fall 2014. This is an online class, so there's no physical place to meet or time to meet. As far as email, I prefer you send me messages inside of Blackboard, so don't send stuff to my normal email address if it's course related. If it's not course related, if it's something about needing a reference or something like that, certainly feel free to send it to me via regular email at H.Schuessler@tarleton.edu. But if it's course related, I want it inside of the Blackboard shell. Excuse me. My office is COBA 162. Pop that A in there. And my campus phone number. Honestly, this is not a very good way to reach me. I mean, you're probably going to leave voicemail. I don't use the phone that much. My office hours, I'm on campus every Tuesday and Thursday. I may be there other days, and on some days I may be there during these time periods, but away at a meeting or something like that. But I will be on campus on these days unless I happen to be at a conference or something like that. As I mentioned a moment ago, I do have SANS training in September that will pull me away for a week. I also have virtual office hours that I plan on holding from 11 in the morning to noon on Tuesdays. So if you got your Google account, you can pop into my Hangout. I'll just be online for that hour and have my video up and going. And if just pop on in if you have a question or something. Here's our textbook that we're going to be using for this semester. This is a really pretty in-depth textbook. We're not going to cover all of the contents in it. I went through and kind of selectively picked out the chapters that we're going to cover and tried to align them with our test out course that we're going to be using. But that's the textbook that we're going to be using. There's a link to their companion website. Test out, as I mentioned in the previous video, is a website that we're going to be using. It's got all kinds of online content that we can take advantage of, and that's what we're going to be using for your homework as well, your homework grade. It's a pretty good deal. It normally runs $495, but through academic pricing through Tarleton, it's only $89, and you have access to it for 18 months. So even if you get done with this course and you're not ready to go take your Network Plus or SSCP certifications for Network Plus or for SSCP, you still have access to this, and go back and redo some of those things and brush up before you go take those certs. So it's a pretty good deal. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video as well, This course does require the use of Google Drive and Google Docs. It's an opportunity for me to be able to provide content to you, especially at the end of the semester when you take your certifications. I can simply scan those documents in and then drop them into the folders that you shared with me. So be sure to do the very first homework assignment, homework 0, to get that set up. Course description, all that kind of stuff, normal stuff. I also like to include stuff from the Bureau of Labor Statistics regarding what professionals do. In this particular case, as a security class, I pulled up information security analysts, and you can kind of see some of the content that I pulled from their their website. And so you can tell down here the growth rate is phenomenal for this field. So it's a great area to get into. The pay isn't quite as good as some of the other IT areas, but those other IT areas aren't necessarily growing at quite the rate that it is in the area of security. So that's, if you're looking for a job, this is a good field to get into. Related to that is career services here. If you're nearing graduation and you don't have a job yet, contact them. They're great people over there. There's a great way to get things set up. They can help you with mock interviews. They can help you develop a video resume. They can help you refine existing resumes. It's a valuable resource, and you're paying for it in your student fees already, so take advantage of that. Software, by being enrolled in a BCIS course, you have free access to an awful lot of Microsoft's titles. Why not take advantage? The best way to get familiar with a lot of these is to play with them, and that's how you get better at them. They do have Microsoft Virtual PC if you would like to download that and run some of their server operating systems or some of their clients in a virtual environment. My personal preference is actually to use Oracle's VirtualBox for that. I just think it's a better product, but do these things in virtual environments, and that way when you're done with them, you can just delete the virtual machine and not have to worry about it. It's a great way to get familiar with their product. So, course goals and skills outcomes, you should be coming away with quite a bit from this course. Course deliverables. This is what everybody wants to know. What do I have to do to turn things, to get my grades? What do I have to turn in to get through the class? Basically, you've got components for assessment, homework, and then exams. So assessments are basically the quizzes that we're going to have. The homework comes from the test out environment. So those are those little quizzes that they have and simulated environments that they have. And then we've got a series of exams. We've got 3 practice exams, a midterm, and a final exam. The 3 practice exams and the final exam are all in the test out environment. The practice exams are already open. You can do those early if you want. I don't recommend it at this point, obviously, but those are really geared towards being at the end of the semester. I'm doing those in lieu of a semester project, so no semester project if you've had me before, so you may be jumping for joy for that. But the midterm is in Blackboard, so keep in mind of that. The midterm's in Blackboard. The final exam is at the end of the semester in the test out environment, and that's actually the Security Pro certification exam that you're going to be taking. So if you make a passing score, their passing score, whatever it is, for the Security Pro exam, you will have a Security Pro certification at the end of this course. The assessments are quizzes over the chapters. Students usually absolutely hate my quizzes. It's not an exercise in looking up answers. They're timed to 5 minutes. They're really designed to keep you current, keep you reading, making sure that you're not falling behind in the reading. So be sure and stay current in the reading. Look at the PowerPoints. Look at everything that you can before you take the quiz to make sure that you're as ready as you can be. The reason that I don't reset quizzes is I drop your lowest 2 quiz scores. So it's kind of a get out of jail free card. If you miss a quiz, if your computer crashes on you, don't worry about it. You've got 2 freebies. My advice to you is to take all of them and do as well as you can on all of them, because that way your lowest scores will be replaced, and that's that's a good way to kind of bump up your score for quizzes. And that syllabus quiz should be a simple one for you. There's also the pre-test and post-test, which we talked about in the other video, so I won't go over that. Homework, as I also mentioned in the previous video, is in the test out environment. You're going to do at least all of them except for homework 0. They are all in the test out environment. You're going to do their little quizzes that they have, which are multiple choice, and then they have simulations, tasks that you're going to have to accomplish, configuring a router or something of that nature. So be sure and step through those. You can do those multiple times, so before the due date and time, do them as many times as necessary to get a perfect score. You should come away with a perfect homework score. If you're not, you're settling, and that's up to you. Let's see, what else do we have? Registration instructions for test out. If you're not familiar with that, there's also a tutorial that's already posted into Blackboard. Homework 0, that very first one that I mentioned, is due August the 31st at 9:30 p.m. Everything's due at 9:30 p.m. There's those 3 practice exams. There's 3 practice exams. The first one is over Security Pro, which is the one that the final will be over. So that's a practice one. That's a good prep for the final. Security Plus, these other 2 will also be good prep for the final as well. But there's the following week the Security Plus one is due, and then the following week the SSCP practice exam is due. And then there's the 2 actual exams, the midterm and the final exam. Here's the point breakdown for the class. There's a total of 13 quizzes, 12 chapter quizzes, and then the one over the syllabus right there. This is where I recommend that you pop in your scores. So I would download a copy of the syllabus and then pop your scores in here to keep track of where you stand throughout the semester. Again, I don't care for the Blackboard grades and the way they keep their grades. So this is what I would do. I would also go back and look at this. If you add all these up, it adds up to more than 230 points. Why? Because I drop your 2 lowest quiz scores here. So it doesn't count the assessment pre-test or the post-test, but all these other ones, out of all these 20-point ones, I drop your lowest 2. So that's a plus for you guys. There's all your homework scores. And this is not a network proposal, but rather your practice exams. Each of your scores on the practice exams, you add up all the points available for each practice exam. I'll convert it to a 100-point scale, and that'll be your grade on each practice exam. As I mentioned, this is being done instead of or in lieu of a semester project. And there's your midterm and your final. And if I've added everything up correctly, it should be 1,470 points. Late assignments, I don't take them. And remember, if you go back and look at the Blackboard video, almost everything is already posted. Work ahead. There's no reason to be late on anything in this class. Student expectations, there's nothing out of the ordinary there, I don't think. I mean, it's all stuff that you should, especially as graduate students, you shouldn't have any problems with. Check Blackboard regularly. I'm telling you, at least once a day. You're responsible for being aware of what's in the syllabus and turning in assignments when they're due. Communication, all those types of things. The basic things that good students should be doing. Academic honesty, our policy is right there. Don't cheat. It's not worth it. It's not. People have in the past, they've gotten caught, and we've failed people on comprehensive exams, things like that. So it's just not worth it. The Center for Access and Academic Testing, if you have need for some sort of an accommodation, I am not qualified to make that determination, and so I won't. If they provide you with an accommodation letter, I'm going to do whatever that accommodation letter says. They are the experts in this area, and so when they tell me what you need, that's what I'm going to do. But don't come ask me for extra time on quizzes or exams or whatever. If you don't provide an accommodation letter, I won't do it. So keep that in mind. And that is it for the syllabus. But before we finish up this video or wrap it up, I do want to come back over here and look at the schedule as well, so we can just kind of talk about the format of the schedule, just in case you have any questions. The very first column is the week that we're on. The next column is the dates, and it starts at 12:01 a.m. on Monday mornings, and it closes, with the exception of finals week and the week right before, it closes on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. All the assignments are due at 9:30 p.m. that Sunday. So this very first week, we're covering, here's the topics that we're covering. We're covering introductions in the syllabus and chapter 1, which is an overview in the text. As far as the deliverables, what's actually due this very first week, this is what we've got going on. This is what we've got going on. So this very first week, we have that pre-test that I mentioned in the previous video. So just take it. It doesn't matter how well you do or how poorly you do. You do it, you're going to get 5 points. Homework 0. That's the one where you're going to create a Google Doc and share it with me. You're going to put a face shot in it for me, and you're going to fill out that form for me. And that's all I need as far as that. You do that, you get your 20 points there. Homework 1, you need to go ahead and get registered with Test Out as quickly as possible. And that very first one is pretty simple, pretty simple homework assignment, but it does kind of get you introduced and jump into that Test Out environment pretty quickly. Our first actual quiz, well, first 2 actual quizzes. The first one's over the syllabus. That should be a give me grade. Read the syllabus. Invariably, people lose points on it because they haven't read it, they don't use common sense. I'm not really sure why, but you should be getting 20 points off that syllabus quiz. Have it open in a separate tab or separate window, and get your full 20 points on that. And then there's the very first quiz over chapter 1. I would do that last. Make sure you've got everything else done. Ask all your questions before you do it. Try not to wait to the last second to do it, but I would do that your last thing for the week. And that's kind of how each week progresses. The topic is on the left. That's what we're covering that week. The deliverables are there on the right. The midterm is during week 6, and I tell you right there what we're covering. It's worth 300 points. The chapters that are being covered, etc. Again, this is in Blackboard. The practice exams are here towards the end of the semester. Security Pro practice exam. The following week is the Security Plus practice exam, and then the SSCP practice exam. Then I have that post test that will pop up, and then finally the final exam, which is the actual certification exam for the Security Plus. You pass that, and I will print out the certificates, sign them, and scan them, and send them back to you, or drop them in the shared folder that you've created for me. So that is it as far as the schedule. I'm really excited. This is a class that I've tried to teach before. I've taught it before. The last time I tried to teach it, the class didn't make, so I'm really glad that it made this time, and I've tried to put together a few additional tools that I keep collecting that I hope you guys will find interesting, and I hope that you join some of the social media links that I've provided, because I'd like to be able to interact with you and share tools and hear about tools that you guys are using. I think that's how we all kind of learn and expand our knowledge on the topic. So I'm really looking forward to this class. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Take care.